We are here.
Greetings.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah.
Welcome. Here we go.
Yes.
We got that Poppa thing.
Oh, we're trying new things around the podcast.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, what happens today because for some reason, today is just going crazy. Yep. Okay.
It's all good. We'll welcome the people.
We'll welcome them in. We'll welcome them. I don't know why we just stopped.
I can see that. It's okay. So let's just jump into our intro.
Well, greetings, everyone. It is a day. Welcome to the Poppa Pank podcast. Clearly, we are here in the afternoon. We are usually here at night. So things are just a little bit different right now. I am Jaylene Clark Owens, and this is my friend and my co-host,
Justin Jane.
And there's a lot of gray in the world, but we think it needs a little more pink. A Poppa Pank. We are Philly-based, multi-hyphenated, and award-winning actors taking on all things arts and culture in this joy-forward and ever-playful variety podcast. You would have been listening to the tunes of Jordan McCree at this point. But for some reason, the music just cut off. No fault of Jordan, all faults of mine. But just, bear with us. We'll try to bring it back a little later. Either way, we welcome you, our Pank Poppas, our supporters, whether you're new or you're old. And we're just going to jump right in. We're just going to jump on in.
Here we are.
Right in. Here we are, Justin.
Here we are. It's technology and happy snow day. I know the snow has been messing up some people's internet. We have not been spared. Hi, Pank Poppas out there. We love to see you all. It is February 2021 in Philadelphia, where we record this podcast, and it has been a snowstorm. So it may be a winter wonderland outside, but in here it is Pank all day. And you would have heard our intro with Jordan McCree. And we are so thankful for Jordan's expertise and professionalism and being an amazing artist. Jordan, like Jaylene and I, does many things in the Philly arts community and beyond, and is one of the most talented percussionists I've ever met. So in today's episode, it is the dawn of theater seasons shaping up for hopefully an in-person world in the fall. Projects are starting to gear back up, and actors will soon begin auditioning again and getting offers. As an arts and culture podcast, we wanted to take today to highlight challenges some Black, Indigenous, people of color artists face when saying yes to the films, plays, and projects we encounter in our careers. Role boundaries are pivotal in our self-care, and cultivating those skills is a lifelong process.
Hello.
But before we get into all that, we are so excited to be coming at our live audience today with this special lunchtime episode. And this is where we normally do our Poppa Drank. But as much as we love day drinking, when we do a daytime recording, we will bring a small plate of food for what we're calling Poppa Pank.
Because tapas, like tapas, the little small plates.
Yep.
So here we're at that time.
Here we go.
Get your plate so we can clank.
It's time for that Poppa Pank.
Poppa Pank.
Poppa Pank.
Poppa Pank.
Poppa Pank. And cheers. And cheers. Arriba, abajo, al centro, pa dentro, jingle masacada, mabuhay. Jaylene, what tapas did you bring to the table for us to eat?
It has been a day, y'all. Pank Poppas, and you know what? I just, in this moment, want to take comfort in the fact that our Pank Poppas are our family, okay? Some of them literally. So Even though today has been crazy for me, it's just been very all over the place. I'm taking comfort in the fact that you all always welcome us. You're always there for us, no matter what kind of day we're having, no matter what technical issues we're having. You all bear with us and show us love. So I appreciate that. So that's calming me right now. Whew. So I did not have time to get food. So my top of pank, Justin always sees me eating these when we're like in our hot house virtual sessions. This is just some mixed nuts. We got some raisins, some peanuts, some almonds, some pecans. Do you say pecan or do you say pecan? We went over
I say pecan.
But you're allowed. You're from the South. My husband tries to say pecan, and he knows he did not grow up saying no pecan, even though he was raised in Florida for a little bit. But still, he don't say pecan. He says pecan.
I did not know that. Where in Florida was he raised?
Mom, she's in the comments.
Oh, okay.
She's in Florida right now.
All right. I didn't know that. I had no idea Jorrance had some Florida connections.
Yes.
Lawrence is her husband's name, but
yes.
I call him Jorrance because of Jaylene, Justin, and Jorrance. Deltona, yes. You know what? Deltona, all of Florida, this Friday, I looked at their forecast, is 77 degrees. I know, Jaylene. I know.
What are we doing here then?
Just being in a basement while there's a snowstorm outside and crappy internet.
What are you having for your top of pank today?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the hot house snack time, because I'm bringing one of my favorite Wilma hot house snacks, which is just charcuterie. It's just cured meat. This is just a salami and crackers. But I do have some praline pecans. Speaking of pralines, so these are praline
pecans.
Praline pecans.
Wow.
Oh, you say praline pecans. That's a double whammy. Praline pecans is a double whammy. And
praline pecans? No, I say praline pecans.
Praline pecans.
Yes. You say praline pecans.
Praline pecans.
Wow.
Pecan. That's our next. I feel like last episode we found two characters. We never shared this with our listeners. We came up with anti-bias and uncle bias. And now I think we have two new characters called Praline Pecan and Praline Pecan. Like a distant cousin of John McCain. Okay, I don't know why it's a different last name, but it is. Anyway, that's my snack.
Oh my God.
Thank you to the pralines that gave their lives, and thank you to the animals that made this food. But the thing that I am most excited about right now is that hoodie. I need to know what that is.
Ooh, my hoodie queen. This is from my favorite, Ofure. As you know, Pank Poppas, I am a Ofure brand ambassador. So this is part of their collection. This is their pink queen hoodie jogger set. It has also matching sweatpants. And and if you want to order from them, check out the info below. It is ofure.com/Jaylene, and you can get a discount. And Ofure is OFUURE.com for our listeners out there.
It is never too early to start your Christmas shopping. In the grand scheme of things, it's right around the corner.
Right.
So Pank Poppas, what are you eating out there? Okay, what are you drinking or eating out there for your top of lunch? What did you bring for us to share around the table and everybody to pick at? Well, I guess that's a pre-pandemic kind of life.
Yes, Mama her queen sweatshirt. Thank you, Mama Pat.
Okay, so I think it's time to move on to our next segment. So here we are at Pank News. Pank News is the segment where we talk about anything we're vibing on this week in the arts. This could be anything from a theater show we've seen to pop culture events and visual arts. Since today's episode is about actors and the material we choose to or not choose to take, Jaylene, what have you been thinking about in arts and culture this week?
Well, before I say, I just want to get some of our Pank Poppas. They're having ham and cheese sandwich. Janice, Paul is having some yogurt with banana and granola, and Mama Pat is having some strawberries. So this week in Pank News, I am reflecting on the loss of a legend in the arts and culture world, Miss Cicely Tyson. Before I speak about her, I just want to show a very short clip, hoping that it works because you see internet has been acting up with us today. But here we go. Let's see.
We are not just considered actresses. For instance, I would be up for the same role as Jane Fonda if I were considered an actress rather than a Black actress, which limits my ability to work.
From the start of her career, Cicely Tyson was very, very selective about what parts she would and wouldn't accept. Her support for civil rights came through the ways in which she performed Black womanhood.
I have the reputation in my business for working every few years, and it's every 2 or 3 years when a role comes along that appeals to me, that speaks for me, that deals with what I would like to project to my audiences.
Yes, what an inspiration. Yeah, go on.
Absolutely. So Miss Tyson, first of all, was a Harlemite. Okay. She was born in East Harlem. She helped to found the Dance Theater of Harlem. Like, she's amazing. And she has appeared in more than 100 film, television, and stage roles. So reflecting on what we just heard in that clip, she was very selective about what roles she played. She definitely had role boundaries, strict role boundaries. I saw another quote from her that said, "We Black actresses have played so many prostitutes and drug addicts and housemaids, always negative. I won't play that kind of characterless role anymore, even if I have to go back to starving. My art had to both mirror the times and propel them forward. I was determined to do all I could to alter the narrative about Black people, to change the way Black women in particular were perceived by reflecting our dignity." So Cicely Tyson in 1972 declared she was not going to do any more roles where she played any prostitutes or anything negative. She was only going to play Black women who had dignity. And she stuck to her word. Like, that is just, I am so amazed by her and just how she carried herself in this world. And I think she was just an incredible artist. And I'm so glad that we were blessed with her presence on this earth. And I think there's so much to learn from her. So yes, we'll talk a little bit more about role boundaries, but that's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah, that was so heartening to hear that and see that and be reminded of that. It can be so unnerving and make you feel like I'm making the wrong choice when you're setting role boundaries, when you're saying no to jobs, especially when there's somebody right after you that will nab up that same job and be happy, not see anything wrong with it. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but everybody needs to eat. But it's an interesting conundrum, and one that takes a lot of personal grit, I would say. But speaking of people setting boundaries, the thing that has gotten me in the Pank News this week has been Dolly Parton. So in case you don't know out there, Dolly Parton has turned down the Medal of Freedom twice during the Trump presidency. Now, she says the first time that her husband was sick, so she couldn't attend the ceremony and get it all. And the second time she was offered, it was during the pandemic. So she was like, I don't feel safe traveling. Now, it's questionable whether or not those reasons are legit or if, we don't know. But she was interviewed recently about being asked if she would accept it during a Joe Biden presidency. And she said, you know what? I have to think about it. I don't know if I would, because now it would seem like it's a political act rather than being honored with a medal, this really prestigious medal. So I'm curious, how do you feel about that, Jaylee? I don't know how I feel, where I land on that.
I think you already know. I will be getting my medal. Listen, Uncle Joe, go ahead, put the medal on. I will be getting my medal.
I think it's such an interesting thing because some celebrities really try to play an apolitical line. They try not to have any politics in their work. And even though they might do progressive or radical things in the world, like with their foundations or who they support, they try as a brand not to like choose a side. And I feel like Dolly's a little bit doing this here of saying like, we don't know Dolly's political affiliation. We know that she's very popular in culture and in the South as well as the North. So I don't know.
Dolly like doing something with the vaccines?
Yeah, Dolly gave a lot of money early on, one of her foundations. She didn't even know. Like in an interview or something, somebody thanked her or said something like, yeah, you really helped like with vaccines. She was like, oh, wow, that's great. She gives so much money to so many things that it's like one of those situations. And it's probably all managed by a whole team of other people. But anyway, Dolly is setting boundaries and I can respect that. And I hope she accepts the Medal of Honor because that is huge. But I did want to cite a second thing that happened in Pank News this past week. For the past 6 days, for the first time ever, the Sundance Film Festival was online.
Wow.
And so this suddenly cracks open, and I mean just a crack of accessibility. So for as low as $15, people could purchase a ticket and watch one of these exclusive films, which included Questlove's first film. That got sold out really fast. I couldn't get a ticket to that. So they were also like limited to create, I guess, buzz. But Questlove's first film was out there. There were so many award-winning breakouts that like came from all over the world to hear, and a documentary about Amy Tan, who I love, the writer who wrote Joy Luck Club. Also couldn't get into that. But I personally love these festivals because they all usually have some kind of live performance and experimental fringe festival around them. Like Sundance does it, the Cannes Film Festival in France does it, South by Southwest. All of these are known as being like big film platforms, but what the public at large doesn't know is that they're used as places for performance artists and live artists to try out some of their work. So this year they had something called, oh my gosh, New Frontier, which was all these hybrid online performance installations. So there's like an AR section where you put on augmented reality and experience a thing. There's VR, there's some audio experiences, there's some computer experiences, and then there's hybrids. And so a few of the shows that I saw was Weirdo Night with Dynasty Handbag. That's such a niche like market, but it's performance art. There's one that I think all of our listeners and everybody out here would love called Traveling the Interstitium with Octavia Butler. And maybe I'll put up something like that to whenever we have a website, we'll put that up on that. But this is like a bunch of short stories and just these 5 portals. And it's like an online experience about Blackness in America right now. And it's like kind of like an art installation. And the one that I vibed on really a lot was called Rich Kids, A History of Shopping Malls in Tehran. And this was a hybrid like YouTube experience and Instagram experience. So you had your phone open the whole time. You followed this Instagram account, and then there were the performers on screen. And the performers would guide you on how to scroll through the Instagram, as well as going on Instagram Live. And it's all about history, the past and the present in Iran, sitting together. And like now there's this culture of rich kids and like who don't know anything about their past. And so it's just an interplay about that. But all of those definitely had me tickled my creative bone. So speaking of, what is our next segment?
Our next segment actually is Tickled Pank. Funny you should mention that. So this is where we talk about something that has recently been giving us joy, that has left us tickled pank. Now, what has had you tickled pank these days, Justin?
So since we're talking about artists who take matters into their own hands, I just want to give a shout out that have tickled me pank to all of my students at UArts, both the ones in my class, and I've started directing a show right now called Overgrown, and I will talk about this in the future. But I've been so inspired by how incredibly adaptive these performers have been, and that they're all trying new things and they're being resilient and they're still saying yes to this form, even though we don't know what's going on, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I just want to give a shout out to all of my students. What has you tickled pink this week? Do you want to try playing it now?
Well, I can try. What has me tickled pink is our new song from Jordan. Like, I love it so much. I don't know why it just stopped. Let's see if it'll play.
Okay, we're standing by for a good group listen.
It won't.
It's all good. No worries, but you'll hear it on the recorded podcast.
Yes,
you'll be hearing that. So our listeners out there or our live viewers will probably edit this section out. So talk about Jordan, regardless.
Either way, Jordan McCree is part of Ill Dudes, and y'all know Ill Dudes is one of our favorite bands. Anthony Martinez Briggs is in Ill Dudes, and he has been on our show twice. And the song is just really funky. You can hear it at the end of the podcast, definitely, when we play our outro. You'll hear some of it. But it's just like, it makes me like dance and everything. And it's just, I'm always amazed at people in their art and their ability to create things. And Jordan was able to just take our vision and just execute it so beautifully. And I'm so mad that it won't play, but that is no fault again on him. That is just the air that I am in today.
Yeah, I love that. Jordan, listen to that thing we do. You got that Poppa Pank, and then he took that and took the beat, the clapping, the lyrics, all of it, and just expanded it, and was truly a collaborative artist on this. So thank you, Jordan, if you're listening out there. And our Pank Poppas, what has you tickled Pank out there this week? If there's something in the news or anything that you've been vibing on, please type that in the chat and we can shout that out.
Yes, so that brings us to our next segment, Hot Topic, in which we either highlight either myself or Justin. We bring something to the episode that we are passionate about in relation to the theme of the day. So today we're talking about role boundaries and self-care and knowing what you will say yes or no to when being considered for a job. I know this is something that I have thought to myself in my career, but I want to hear from Justin. Justin,
Yes.
You have some experience with this.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to frame all of this conversation with an essay I recently wrote for the Wilma Theater. So you can find this at wilmatheater.org. That's theater. And this is from an essay I wrote for them called Being Stuck and Perpetuating Whiteness in Heroes of the Fourth Turning. So this is just a little bit of what I wrote, but this helps us enter this conversation. So I say, audiences rarely understand the personal and emotional toll roles take on the actors who play them. As an actor of color, I am in constant negotiation of how much of my light I'm willing to manipulate for the predominantly white organizations that employ me. I live in a liminal state wondering whether my space at a given table is because of my talent or because of my skin color. I suspect it is both. When we talk about casting in plays, however, we are talking about systems that have contributed to supremacist practices, holding most standards in relief to whiteness. For theater artists similar to my race and ethnicity, this has led to widespread acclaim of deeply problematic works like Miss Saigon, The King and I, Pacific Overtures, M. Butterfly, and countless others. The canon has been and continues to be dominated by white Western European standards and viewpoints. I learned this the hard way in acting school when I'd witnessed my white classmates held to different measures than the rest of us, seeing material in abundance for them while having to be, quote, colorblind cast in my scene studies and school productions. If colorblind casting feels like you don't know what that is, just Google it and you'll find out why that's problematic. When I entered the field, I indeed, I was cast in a professional production of Miss Saigon that I turned down because I wasn't yet ready for that kind of exploitation. I learned quickly in college that as an actor of color, we enter rooms and always have to be hyphenated. We can't just be an actor. We have to be an Asian American actor, an African American actor, an Indian American actor. It's like other folks get to enter the room and just be an actor. So that automatically was like a kind of awakening in my freshman year. and it's like stayed ever since and nags at me all the time, and it's both my superpower and like the thing that like nags at me too. But yeah, King and I wasn't the only thing I've turned down since. I've turned down some other productions in the world that was either directed by a non-Asian person or written by a non-Asian person, or was a situation where Asians and Asian Americans were all on stage, but then on the other side of the table, it was completely white or predominantly white. And those instances just give me pause. Again, I don't want to throw shade to any of my brothers and sisters out there who take that work. We all need to live and we all need to eat, and it's okay. These are just my boundaries. These aren't boundaries for everybody.
So that's the thing. So, okay. So what are your absolute like non-negotiables when it comes to a character you're asked to play? Like what are the things that you're like, if the situation is this, I'm not doing it?
Right. I think it's about like perpetuating Asian male stereotypes in the world and being keenly aware of that. I don't have to necessarily list those here. I'm sure just saying that will conjure up things for people in the zeitgeist. So all of those things are things I buck against. And I'm just like, whatever society has taught us, what America has taught us about the Asian male body and the Asian male personality, I'm done with that. That exists in abundance, and it still is perpetuated today. So works that I see starting to point to that or supporting that or reinforcing that give me a little bit of a pause. Unless, of course, it's used in a strategic way, which I think contemporary playwrights are really good about bucking against. So
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's like a little tingle. And I'm sure all the actors of color out there know this. Like there's that little thing in your heart where you're like, ouch, or you're just like, something here doesn't feel right to me. And some of us are like, something doesn't feel right to me, I'm going to plow ahead and hope for the best. And sometimes it does work itself out. But I'm getting to the age where it's like, that thing that doesn't feel good anymore, I'm just like, yeah, okay, good. I heard your little voice. I'm good now. I can go spend time with my daughter and husband. Yeah, what is it for you?
I mean, I think just what you said, like it has to be strategic. So for example, if I said, oh, I'm just never going to play a role where I'm a slave ever again. Now, granted, I'm not really interested in playing too many more slaves in my career. I have played slaves, I think, at least 2 or 3 times at this point. But in an octoroon,
right,
it definitely was strategic. In Ms. Martha, it was strategic. And so it depends. Like, I think for me, one of the questions I asked myself, like, are my parents going to watch this? Are they going to be, how they going to feel when they watch this? Now, that doesn't mean that every single role going forward, they are going to approve of. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. But for the most part, that's kind of like a boundary for me. So it's like, I'm not going to be in a role where I'm just like, I don't know, got nudity going on and I'm just, out here flopping about. Like, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, it's so difficult because it's like, you're not saying I'm going to only play roles that are me, that are like me, because that we're actors. We embody different people. But I feel like you have to draw that line if you want to. Some people are like, I'll do anything and everything.
I think it's about, it costs us something. So am I willing to pay that because I'm going to be paid back later on in some way? And I felt this with an octoroon when I did The Great Leap, and even when I just did Heroes of the Fourth Turning. There's something that's like a little bit ouch, or a little bit like this is prickly to do this or to say yes to this. But in the long run, I can see a vision, or I can see a message, or I'm using my my personality, my spirit for a bigger message than just than what's on the table. And I think that's That's really a gray territory. When I first started out as an actor, I was like just saying yes to everything, and like quickly get burnt out that way. But I think Philadelphia in particular has had a big cultural reckoning, particularly with Asian and Asian American voices on stage. There was a moment in our recent history, I'm not going to cite it, but there was a show that happened that got everybody stirred up. Because of it was a bit of cultural appropriation that was happening in the show, in the way it was made, and the people who did it. And from that, there was a great change, actually. The Consortium of Asian American Theater Artists happened in Philadelphia, big conference with Asian American theater artists, Philadelphia Asian Performing Artists, originally founded by Bijan No, and now helmed by Kat Ramirez, and a whole team of folks is in existence in Philadelphia. Seth Rosen out there has been really championing our work on Interact Stage along with Rick Shiomi. And now there's an abundance of, getting to an abundance of Asian American artists that are carrying the banner for Philadelphia. A lot of my friends, B and Kat, Stephanie Walters, Annie Fang, Debbie Lau is now in New York. Sorry, but you were here, and Melody Wong. All these folks are very dear to me, and I'm really glad to be in good company with them here. Yeah.
Do you think so? Yes, we said all that. We got our boundaries and whatnot. But what if the check was like crazy? Or the opportunity? Like, what if it was like, okay, you get to be, I don't know, on Broadway, or you get to be on television in a major network show, and you're gonna get paid all this money, Does that change where that boundary is set?
Yeah, I do think it does, because I am a father who is trying to take care of a family as an actor. And so like that's the thing on the forefront. I do think I have gotten better at speaking up. So if I got a big old HBO show where I have to play a deferential Asian and it's not written beyond that or doesn't break that, I think there might, and I do the auditions and I do everything and I wrestle with it and I talk with all my friends about like this crappy role, but I'm going to be making millions of this on HBO. I think I would like to think that there's a point in that whole process of saying yes where I get to sit down with the director or the writer or the producer of the show and just be like, do you know what you're doing and the way you're portraying this character, and that there's possibly a little bit more complexity to it? And I would hope that, and I know nothing about Hollywood, but I know I suspect, at least on Broadway, there's a little bit more of a collaboration in that world. And then I can be a little bit I can sit a little bit better in my heart to be like, I championed and fought and got so far, or something changed. So now I can just go ahead and take that check and wait for use this as a stepping stone to something bigger. Because at the end of the day, we still have to look out for our career as a whole, the well-being of our family. And there is this thing sometimes, and I teach this to all my students, about protecting your light. And so that means if I were to say yes to a role like that, I wouldn't put my whole spirit in there. I would be like, okay, I'm clocking into work, junk. And, I'll do what I need to do as far as I need to do, opposed to another project when I sort of go head first into it.
Because that's the thing. Sometimes you do the role. A lot of actors, a lot of actresses have done these roles that were not great, but that got them their visibility. And then once they got that, then they were more selective about what roles they were going to take. It's like doing certain roles got their foot in the door, and then once they were in the door, they were selective. So I get it. I think,
Wait, what would you do? Same question.
I think I would really have to think about that. I want to have faith that if it was really something that I felt would compromise who I am and the kind of work that I want to put out in the world, then I would just have to have faith that God is going to bring another opportunity that does fit. And I can't sit in the mindset that if this is going to be my only opportunity, because I do feel like I was called to do this. And I do believe that God is not going to give me this one opportunity that would be great for my career, but that doesn't feel right in my spirit. And then when I say no, then that's it for the rest of my career. I'm choosing not to believe that. I'm choosing to believe that if I was able to get, to the point where I'm being offered a big opportunity, that another will come. That's what I'm saying now.
Yeah. It also does have a lot to do with the people behind the table, the people you don't see on the stage or the screen. And if I'm going to dip into like exposing my light for a reason, and I can see that the people on the other side of the table, even they might not be Asian American or if it's a group of people I trust and company that I trust, and it looks diverse on the other side of the table, I'm gonna be more ready to say yes to a thing, and not feel like my culture or my body and voice are being appropriated. So that has a lot to do with it, and we still have a lot of work to do in that area in terms of the arts and culture. I think we're getting better on stage and on screen at seeing more diversity and more equity, but on the other side of the table is where it's still where change is a little bit slow.
It's complex, but these are some of the things that we have to deal with. And Pank Poppas out there, I know you probably also have to deal with these things as well. Maybe not in the arts, but this could happen in any field, honestly, where you're contemplating taking us, whether or not you should take an opportunity, because you might compromise your moral integrity, or it may not feel like the right fit, or so
yeah.
In those moments, I just say try to stick to who you are, and don't let anybody rush you into a decision, and really sit with it, so that you can figure out what to do.
So here we are talking about the present. Let's talk about the future. So let's check in about anything upcoming that we're excited about with our Pank forecast.
Oh yeah, we didn't make a little jingle for that.
I kind of like, we don't have a jingle for this yet, but I kind of like putting Jaylene on the spot. So that we're excited with about our Pank forecast.
Pank forecast.
That's just like Hot Topic. You just used Hot Topic to do Pank forecast.
No, I said Pank forecast. See.
Oh, okay, I got it. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that whole note there at the end. Okay, for me, I'm looking forward to Code Black Planet and the rest of the Wilma Hot House shorts. So, do you think we can watch that clip or no?
Oh yeah, that clip.
Okay, these for those listeners, you're gonna go to Wilma. WILMATHEATER.org/hothouse-shorts. And Code Black Planet is available this Friday. All of the Hot House shorts are being released every week on a Friday. They are pay what you can. So if you can only pay $0 or you can pay $25, do it.
Nope.
This broadcast has been obtained illegally. Terminating transmission.
Yes. As you, for those of you that are not watching, it was a little bit of a preview of images from Black Planet with that amazing music on top of it. And our very own Jaylene Clark Owens was in it. And it is helmed as artistic leads by Anthony Martinez Briggs and Brandon Pierce, and other Hot House and Hot House affiliated artists appear throughout. Jaylene, do you want to mention anything else as a teaser for Black Planet, Code Black Planet?
Not really. There's some spoken word. There's, of course, like acting in it, and you just got to watch it.
Wait, Jaylene, can I ask you about Code Black Planet? Do you know why? Is it in response to Code Blue, which was released last year, or is it completely a different thing?
It's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last year, for those of you that are Wilma fans and may have watched some of our digital content, there was a piece released last year in the beginning of the pandemic called Code Blue. And now we have Code Black Planet. They're not related, but there might be if you watch the two together. Jaylene, what are you looking forward to?
Also on February 5th, Malcolm and Marie is coming to Netflix. Sam Levinson wrote the script for this movie, and it was shot. He wrote the script in 6 days and shot the film in just a couple of weeks. And it's starring Zendaya and John David Washington, who is Denzel Washington's son. And I'm just really excited to see it. It was, they did it under very strict quarantine guidelines. I think it was like the first film like made in quarantine or something like that. So I am excited to see it. It's in black and white. It's coming to Netflix on Friday, February 5th. So that is in the Pank forecast, and I am looking forward to it. And then, of course, I am also looking forward to next Saturday, February 13th. I will be on the Clubhouse app. They're having their first Black History Month celebration from 6 to 9. So I'll be going somewhere in the 6 to 8 time slot. If I find out more details, I'll let y'all know. But that's happening on Clubhouse. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
He's eating.
I know. I thought you were going to talk about other things, but let's move on to our next segment, Pank Games.
Okay, here we go.
We went into it. Now let's just brush it off. And we're going to play the games we played last week because I loved them.
Okay. Oh, are we going to get a word from the audience?
For where I left off?
Yep.
Sure.
So while they're giving us what, we have a delay, I'll share with you some of the things that our Pank Poppas are happy about, are tickled Pank about. Mama Pat is tickled Pank about Code Black. And Paul is tickled Pank about walks in the snow in a Rittenhouse square covered in snow creatures.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Pank Poppas, give us a word to kick off where I left off, which is a game that we play where you have to think of a song that has this word in it. And my mother-in-law gave the word socks. Wow.
Okay. First, I've got it. So first, no. Let's both think.
That is the most difficult word ever.
No, I love it. Socks. Get your socks off. Rock socks.
Snow.
No.
Let it snow. Let it snow. And the fire's blazing. Blazing? That's even blazing is hard.
Blazing.
Or I'll spare you. So baby.
Baby, hit me one more time. That's all the Brittany I got. Time.
Do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time when we first met?
I stink at this game.
And that's where I left off for today. That's where we're leaving off.
That's where I'm leaving off. But I do want to play the alphabet game with a category. So for those of you out there that watched last week, Jaylene and I just have to go A through Z in the alphabet, and it is the first word we can think of related to a theme. And if we make it to Z, we both win. If we don't, we both lose. So I would say, since today's episode is all about drawing boundaries, let's say the category is saying yes.
Saying yes.
Yes, start with A.
Apples.
Or like affirmation or aspiration or
affirmation.
B, believing.
C, conceding.
D, destiny.
E, everlasting.
F, forward, because you have to keep moving forward. You have to say yes. We're going forward with that.
Go. That's like saying yes. Go.
Oh, H is help. Help me, because you're saying yes. I don't know what I'm doing.
And interesting. This is hard, Justin.
Now we got to keep going. We have to keep going.
Interesting. Okay, go.
J, justified.
JK. You're a knight, and knights. I have to say yes to going to fight.
Okay.
Now I'm rhyming.
JK. L, limits. I'm putting limits on this.
Money, because people say yes to money.
Okay, no, because it's the opposite of yes.
I have nothing for Justin.
Just go. You got it.
Others, because others say yes.
Okay. Q, query. I have a question.
P? Did
No, wait.
did you skip P?
Did I skip P?
Yep.
Oh, P. Yep, I skipped P. P would be placement.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to be like, yes, that should go there.
And you said Q already. So R is resistance.
S is standing by what you say.
Mm-hmm. T is tough love. You say yes, be tough love.
Yeah. U is understanding. I understand. Yes.
V is for victory. You said yes, and it's a victory.
W is winning.
Y is yes.
And Z is zebra is saying yes. I will have these stripes, and I won't be like all you other horses.
Poppa Pankas. Poppa Pank. Hey, Poppas. Pank Poppas. Did y'all do better than us? That was very difficult, and I'm so mad at Justin for giving us saying yes. We had to come up with every word of the alphabet to have to do with saying yes. That was so hard.
I think that was super successful.
Oh my
Just
God.
because it's hard doesn't mean it's not good. I think that was the best we've done yet.
Anyway, with that, we are nearing the end. Are y'all finished with y'all lunch? I still have lots of my trail mix left.
I have one more praline pecan.
I actually ordered food and it is still not here. My driver still hasn't gone to pick up my food, and I'm about to have to leave.
Jaylene, last week I ordered Grubhub. The driver said it was delivered. No food came. I kept calling Grubhub and they were like, it's on its way. I said, it's been delivered. Finally, someone was like, yeah, it's not been delivered. Gave me a full refund and then 20% off.
Wow. Well, looks like I won't be eating anything today. Well, I'll eat later, but not right now. Anyway, all right. Our next episode, y'all, is not next week, but the week after that. And we have a special guest. So Wednesday, February 17th at 12:30, we will be with the one, the only, Brian Anthony Wilson, who is a theater, film, and TV star. Brian Anthony Wilson has done so much work for the stage, so much work for film, so much work for TV. I feel like every time I turn on the TV, my husband is like, hey, isn't that your friend? And it's like, yes, look at Baw. Baw, B-A-W, Brian Anthony Wilson. So we are very excited. So please join us next week. Bring your Tapa lunch. Bring your Poppa drink and join us. Yeah. Are we going to hit him with the freestyle?
Of course, you better believe it. So, Jaylene, give me my word first.
Saying yes.
I've lived in a place where I've always said no. It's gotten me nowhere. I'm sitting in snow. I want to be warmer. I want to be free. So I gotta say yes to just being me.
Oh, yay. That was very inspirational, like mine last week.
No, y'all, if you need to go back and listen to last week's episode, Jaylene's freestyle needs to be turned into a children's book. And word for word. No edits, no nothing. And we'll get an illustrator out there. Okay, Jaylene, your word is confusion, because you've had a very confusing day.
Oh, man, sometimes life can get so confusing. So much stuff is going on, I can't tell if I'm winning or losing. This is going wrong. I feel like it's dark instead of light. But you know what? If I just take a deep breath, my therapist taught me that then I will be all right.
Yes! Yes! I love that we gave props to therapy, and that was also that both of ours were just like little nuggets of wisdom for your day as you go in and you have a whole day ahead of you, everybody. That's what's joyous about this podcast being filmed at lunchtime. But
words of wisdom, give us a JJ proverb for moments when you have to make a big decision and you can't decide what to do.
Oh, that's that when you have a big decision and you can't decide what to do. You could take the high road, or you could just stay in the car.
Yeah.
Wait, that one is like high road, low road. What is that? What's that saying? I don't know. So for those of our listeners, again, these proverbs are based on idioms that exist in the world, and that I never know. I never know how they actually go. But I think the real one is you could take the high road or the low road.
Child, I don't know.
I'm saying you could take the high road or you could just stay in the car.
There you go. Very profound. I hope that carries you through the rest of your week out there, Pank Poppas. We thank you for bearing with us with all the technical difficulties and whatnot. You will hear a little bit of Jordan's song at the end as soon as we sign off. So we just want to thank you again. If you would like to donate to help us out, we are transitioning to being an actual podcast. And so yeah, if you would like to donate, you can feel free to donate. Cash App, we are at Poppa Pank. And on PayPal, we are at paypal.me/Poppa Pank. Or you can just email us at poppapank@gmail.com if you don't have either one of those services. We thank you so much for all of you being here. We love you. Yes, Mama Pat, we love you. Justin, well done on your freestyle.
Yes.
Janice, I think you did a GIF and we can't see it. This is how it shows up for us, but we'll go back and we'll look at it afterwards. Okay, y'all. With that said, we hope you have a wonderful week and rest of your day. Oogie.
Okay.
Bye.